Who's he?
Kentman!
He's not important!
Okay. Hello, gamers and collectors. It's your boy Kentman, and you all know that I am a connoisseur of loving waifus and just enjoying the beautiful, sexy fan service they bring. And sometimes picking your favorite waifu is kind of a war zone. It just can't be anybody that makes it on the top 10 of your favorite list. It has a lot of crafting and science and understanding who truly gets your jimmies jamming once you get that look of that beautiful character in the sunlight and the dazzlingness, and it feels so good. And today I finally figured out my 10 favorite waifus of 2024, and I'm going to talk about why they made it to this list, starting with number 10. This is a character that is from the past that I didn't really think I was going to enjoy still, but somehow over the last year or so, she has really risen back into my life of loving, and that is Super Sonico. Super Sonico was an early waifu choice back in the early days of 2008 when she first came out, and she quickly rose through the charts of being a lot of people's favorites. And over the years, she has risen from being a supermodel to a sex model to all these other types of things. And she's a rock star, she's a matron, she's a waitress. It's all kinds of stuff. But the thing is, I always loved Super Sonico. Anytime she was featured in Simmer Kagura, when she had her own game, she eventually got her own anime, figures galore, all that jazz. She has stayed to the test of time, and recently this year as I played through Akiba's Trip, it kind of reminded me that I still do have a fondness for this character. I have a Dakamakura of Super Sonico that I bought years ago at a convention. I have a bunch of figures, new ones that's on the way that I am going to be pre-ordering, and I just really realized that I truly love this character. Now, I feels like the reason why she's still number 10 is because I should have loved her a lot more over the years as she was coming out, but for some reason I was either just dumb or just not truly aware of how much I really truly love Super Sonico until now. But for now and to the future, she will be number 10, and I will start loving her the way she is meant to be, because she is truly super. Coming at number 9 is Yumi from Senra Kagura. Now, you all know I love me some Senra Kagura. I love the whole franchise as a whole, and it's very hard to choose any one character over another because they're all great in their own voluptuous way. But Yumi has definitely stood the test of time. Once she was introduced in Shinobi Versus, she easily became my favorite. My first favorite used to be a Kagure, but Yumi just is so gorgeous, so badass. I love that she has this very nice chill demeanor, but when she comes to fighting, she can get down and dirty with it. She's based off an Ice Queen. Her hair goes purple when she goes into her frantic mode, and she becomes even more badass. I love how beautiful and silky pale she is, and she has her nice little kimono, and now she's just the best character within Simmer Kagura. I don't think I really need to explain why I love Yumi the way I do, because there's all kinds of reasons why. She's the best of the best. She tops all the charts for any Simmer Kagura poll list. She's just the best of all time, and I feel like she has one of the most tragic backstories of, you know, her parents getting killed by an unknown source, but her parents was killed and at a very young age, and she was adopted into the Giensen family, and she became the leader of that group, and she easily became just a lovable, voluptuous character, and I just love her. Every character, every time I get the chance to play as Yumi, I love it. Any game that she's in, I'll immediately start playing, and Yumi has quickly became one of my favorite waifus of all time. I feels like over time, I think she can get up closer to the top parts of the list of waifus as I'm really starting to get back into Simmer Kagura. I mean, I've always been into it, but I've been really getting back into it recently, and I can see her rising up the charts a little bit. But for right now, she is number 9. Moving into number 8 is a character that just takes over my brain and I just go goo gaga for, and that is Kfka from Honkai Star Rail. I think, and I stand by this quote, that Kfka is Honkai and Hoyoverse's best character design they've ever created. Her design and her demeanor and just the way she is so captivating that it just makes me want to play the game, even though I don't really enjoy Honkai Star Rail that much. You know, it's one of those games that I feel like I should love it a lot, but because it's a JRPG, it's fun, it's adventurous. But I think the fact that it's a gacha game first and not a JRPG really draws me back from playing the game a lot, because if it was just a JRPG, then I would really enjoy it a lot. But because you have to grind and get characters and other things to really progress through the game, it's something that I don't really enjoy when playing JRPGs. But Kfka is one of those characters that's always like, need to play that game, because the moment I seen her, the way she came up on the elevator with her violin playing and her cold demeanor and the way she speaks, the way she looks at you, her outfit is just cream of the crop. And soon she is getting a 1/6 scale figure that I cannot wait to pre-order. And it's going to be one of those figures that I just love, and I cannot wait to get more stuff for her as thing comes out. I even thought about getting her mini chibi figure, but I'm kind of over buying small non-scale figures nowadays, so I kind of decided not to get it, but kind of regretting it because it's just like, But Kfka is number 8. Coming in on number 7 is a character that I recently loved this year, a character that really quickly rose in my list of favorite characters because of the game and just who she is, and just a little bombshell of a character, and that is Eve. Eve is just one of those characters that, you know, I have a feeling that I was going to love regardless, because it's Shift Up and they know how to design a beautiful character. And as I played through the game of Stellar Blade more and more, I just love Eve. Eve is just a bombshell, beautiful, amazing character, from her starting out as a fish out of water, not really understanding the world below as she wants to be a protector, but as she goes through the world of learning how the humans came to create their own devastation, and the Tebas dealing with the angels and Mother Sphere and Adam, all this stuff, you start to understand her character a lot more. And as you go through the story even more, I was really loving Eve, and I really love the direction that they're taking her. And hopefully with the new stuff that's coming out with the Nier Automata DLC and the future stuff that we have for Eve, I hope we get to see more of Eve evolve over time. And it feels like as the franchise goes on, I can see myself loving Eve even more. I don't think she'll make it into that top 5, because I think that spots are pretty set in stone for me, but she could reach up to top 6, possibly, but it's hard to say. Speaking of number 6, the character that is going to be for this spot is a character that I didn't think I was going to love as much as I did when I first seen her, but over the time of playing the games and just seeing more art and seeing more things about her, I think she deserves to be on this list, and that is Nessa from Pokemon. Specifically Pokemon Sword and Shield. And when I seen her in the second gem, even in the trailers, I was like, oh, she's a sexy looking character. And they designed her really well. I feels like she gets shafted because she doesn't get a lot of screen time nowadays, or she doesn't really get promoted a lot, especially because, you know, you got Scarlet and Violet and the new animes coming out, and it's a shame that Nessa gets overshadowed for how great of a character she could be, and I hate it. But she is such a beautiful character. I love her design. I love her demeanor. She's this model, but it is a water type trainer who wants to bring the beauty of water type Pokemon into her modeling career. And just the little short that we got from her, I enjoyed her so much. She captivates me very much, and I want to get more figures of her, but there isn't none. But there is one that I think I did find that I might end up picking up very soon, is a resin figure. It would be my first time diving into a resin figure, and I just haven't jumped the gun on it because I don't know how to feel about resin figures. But for Nessa, I might do it. Yeah, Nessa is one of those characters that wouldn't think that would stayed on the list of top 10 favorite characters for me. However, she has been a character that is very much stood the test of time. Plus, for a character that, you know, is a black character of all the other characters that I love, I think is a good testament that she is still here, and I love her for that. And you know, she, I think, will always stay at number 6. At least as much as I love Nessa, and I will continue to love Nessa, I think she'll stay at number 6. But unfortunately, there's 5 other characters that's above her, and we're gonna move on to that. Starting with number 5 is Princess Peach. Now, I do have a separate video coming out why I love Princess Peach so much, but just something about Princess Peach just makes me fascinated with her. She's my favorite Nintendo character of all time, and every single time I see her in any game or any art, I need to buy it or I need to have it. I have a whole Princess Peach shrine of sections just dedicated for her because I just love her so much. Anybody that knows me or has any affectionation with me knows that I love Princess Peach. She's on my intro for my opening for every single video. She's on my banner, and I have every single one of her games that she's ever been in mostly all the merch that I could possibly find in person. Because I could buy more stuff online, but it's one of those characters I love finding in person because it makes it more valuable. Like if I find a hidden gem from Princess Peach in person. The only things I do buy online when I do get the chance is art, because you know, art is one of those things that you can't get on in person if you don't go to certain conventions and stuff. But I love Princess Peach. She is one of my favorite characters. I love her to death, and I do know why. I do know why, but I'm gonna save that for its own separate video. So if you want to see that, stay tuned to the channel because I'll be making that video very soon. But Princess Peach is number 5, and I love her to pieces. Coming at number 4 is a character that is no surprise for this channel, and it kind of makes a lot of sense, and that is Risa from the Atelier series. Now, when it comes to Risa, it's funny, the first character that I love from the Atelier series was Rorona. When I first played the game back on the PS3, she easily became one of my favorite characters, easily became one of my favorite franchises, and I loved her ever since. With each new entry of the Atelier series, Rorona always stood the test of time for my favorite characters. And until Risa came out, and Risa for some reason just captivated me so much. Not even just for the fact that she has good thighs, a nice personality, just a beautiful all-around design made for my favorite artist, Tordo Monimo, and just like it was just one of those characters that just charmed me so well. Not only for the fact that the games are fun to play, they had so much more freeing gameplay, and just seeing this young alchemist go from being a novice to a master over the course of 3 games and spending time with her, understanding who she is. She's this bubbly, goofy character that just seeks adventure, but once she had the chance to do adventure, she actually chose to stay behind to learn more because she felt like there was more that she could do. And as she went on, she learned to do better things and thought more on her own merits, and just a character that just grew through over the 3 games. And over the time of me playing the Risa trilogy in general, I've grown to learn to love Risa the most, because it's one of those characters that I didn't think I was going to love, because I was fighting her with Rorona because she's my first love for the Atelier series. She's what got me into the Atelier series, but I had to stop denying the truth of that. I love Risa. Risa is a beautiful character, and I love her a lot, and I love the games a lot, and now she is my number 4 favorite character or waifu of all time, and she's rightfully so. Now, this spot always gets flip-flopped depending on the other franchise that I love a lot, and that is Neptunia. Now, Neptunia is a franchise that I also started playing on the PS3 at the same time as Atelier. I've told this story many times, and they were the first true JRPGs on the PS3 that I played that really got me into these franchises and changed my outlook of JRPGs forever. Like, I mean, I played other games before that from the Tale series, Final Fantasy VII, which is my favorite franchise of all time, and just other things over the course of time. But when I played these games, it kind of changed everything for me, the way I play games from that point on. And that character from this franchise is Neptune. Neptune is such a goofball, fun, interactive character that I just love with each new game that comes out. She has stood the test of time for my favorite characters since back on the PS3 of 2013 when the games first came out, I think somewhere around there. And like, man, no, even sooner than that. Maybe, I don't know. I can't even remember when the first game came out right now, but it's been a long time, and Neptune has always been there and one of my favorite characters. I mean, I love everything about Neptune, from small Nep to big Nep to adult Nep. Everything about her, she's adorable. She's this goofball, breaking the fourth wall character that just loves pudding, just wants to play games and have fun. She doesn't want to do any work, so she's relatable. But, you know, when it comes down to it, she's very caring, very strong, courageous. And then when she becomes her CPU form, she becomes even better and tenfold, but she still has that charming Neptune personality where she loves pudding, she doesn't love eggplants, and she still just is, you know, goofy as always. But she has this more take charge attitude, which is, you know, something you would expect in a more transformed state. And, you know, Neptune is just a character that I love, especially because of the fact that I love Sega, and that Sega is represented from Neptune, as she was the Sega, she represents the Sega Neptune from when it got canceled. And that just, my love of Sega and love of her just kind of went on hand in hand to each other. And she's always been there as my number 3rd favorite character of all time. But number 2 is a character that is not really a surprise, but not a chance. I don't get a lot of chances to talk about her because she only comes up when I'm talking about Final Fantasy, and that is Tifa. Tifa, I don't think I really need to explain why I love Tifa. Tifa's been my love since the PS1 and has been that way since then. And I think she would have always been my number 1 girl, but another character came along and took that spot from her. However, Tifa is just one of those characters that is strong, she's independent, she's fearless, she can fight, she's gorgeous, and she knows she's gorgeous, but she's also very caring and she wants to change the world, but she doesn't want to do it in a way it destroys people's lives. She hates Shinra for the tragedy that Shinra brought. She hates Sephiroth, but she doesn't want to destroy her own morals or self by defeating Shinra. She wants to take them out, sure, but if other people are suffering because of that, she'll also be caring enough to be like, maybe this is not the right way. There's another path to it. She's always out there to protect Cloud and knock him out of his senses when he's acting up or being weird or doing Sephiroth Cloud things. And she's just one of those characters that's always captivated my heart for a very long time. And every time I see Tifa, I just love her to pieces and back. And I wish I had more reasons to talk about her other than just Final Fantasy, but you know, that's just kind of how it goes. Like, she's one of the main girl characters within the series, but she's not the main character, so it's hard to like kind of talk about her outside of Final Fantasy and other means. She doesn't really get a lot of like merch. She does, but she doesn't at the same time. Not the, I don't know what am I talking about? She does. I'm cool. But Tifa is just one of those characters that I've always loved, and I think she will always be the 2nd favorite character. She is very close of becoming number 1 a lot of times. But there's one character I love more than any other character, and I think you guys kind of know, but if you don't know, and that is Rim from Re:Zero. Rim was one of those characters, immediately when I seen her, I instantly fell in love with her, from her design, the way she looked. She was a maid, she was very cute. But as you watch Re:Zero and learn more about Rim, of how badass she is, how down to earth she is, how loyal she is, it's so fucking crazy. The moment, this will kind of be a spoiler, but Re:Zero's been out for a long time, so I feels like it's not much a spoiler at this point. There's a part in the episode where Subaru ends up getting captured by the wizards, and Rim, out of all else, went through thin and back to try to save him. She ended up getting tangled up into the wizard's hands, the visible hands that he had, or power, or it was rope or twine or whatever it is, and her whole like body getting snapped in half, essentially. She got turned around in all limbs, all kinds of other different directions. It was disgusting. It was gross. She practically was dead. But even in that state, She dragged herself to Subaru to be beside him because she wanted to protect him. And in that particular moment, she became my staple of being my favorite waifu of all time. She cemented herself in the Mount Rushmore of favorite characters. She knocked off Hatsune Miku, who used to be my main waifu, my laifu for life. Miku used to be my world. And Rem, within a split second, stole everything that Hatsune Miku built for me. And now I've changed a lot since the days of loving Hatsune Miku, and now she's not even in the top 10. I still love Miku for a lot of reasons. I think I will always have a fascination for Miku, but over the years, I've grown, I've changed the way I think and the way I do things and the way I love characters. I'm not just a young boy that loves a cute girl anymore, and they have to have meaning to why I have loved those characters. And ReZero with Rem, just she always gets figures. She's the greatest character within ReZero in anime history. I will always love her, and she will always be my number one waifu. Now, again, Tifa sometimes comes very close of taking that spot, but I told myself I will never bandwagon again after taking Hatsune Miku out of the first slot for Rem, and I stuck to that gun, that Rem will always be number one without any shadow of a doubt, because I just never want to bandwagon like that again, because I felt so wrong. I betrayed Miku. I betrayed my trust of her, and I never want to do that again because it felt painful. Waifu hunting and waifu picking is not an easy task. It's a very hard and scientific adventure that we just have to go on. But in the end, my number one favorite girl of all time is Rem from ReZero, even after all these years, of all the waifus I love. But yeah, I love a lot of waifus, and they're enjoyable, and their list is always going to change forever. Next year, there might be new waifus that come out that add into the list, and there's just gonna be even more as we go. And that is my list of my top 10 favorite waifus of 2024. Now, this list can always change because waifus is not an easy loving thing. You know, it takes a lot of science, a lot of care, a lot of time management of hanging out with these certain girls and having, you know, good romantic moments with them. I don't know what I'm talking about, but the list can always change because I'm always evolving as a person, always changing my ways of how I look and feel about a certain character. I like a character more for the structure of how the character is built and how the fandom franchise builds over time than just loving them for the way they look. Sure, that is a big part of the reason why I love a certain character, but I'm just not a boy anymore who just loves sexy characters. I love a little bit more foundation of why that character is so great, of their feats and traits and their personality. I like actually liking them for that stuff as well. So that is pretty much it, but let me know how you guys feel about my list, or if you have other characters that you love within the world of waifus, or just husbandos, femboys. It doesn't really matter, whatever you like. Let me know down in the comments down below, because this is just one of those old classic YouTube videos that I kind of just wanted to make, because it's been a while since I talked about waifus and did a list for a top 10 for my favorite waifus. And of course, there's other characters that could have been on here, from Alba, from, you know, characters from Nikke, but I love Nikke as a whole versus just a single character. The list could have gone on forever, but only 10 can stay in the threshold of waifus that I love. The top 5 will always be kind of permanent because that's who I always constantly think about. Either way, let me know how you guys feel about this video down in the comments down below. Who is your favorite waifus or husbandos or femboys or whoever it is, down in the comments down below. And if you can hit the like button, subscribe, and help me reach 10K by the end of the year, which is my end of the year goal, I would really appreciate it. My name is Kentman, and I will see you in the next video next time. Bye me.